What's up, Archons? I'm Flightless Pheasant, and today Ghost Galaxy has dropped some news for us, so I'm going to go through it with you guys so we can take a quick look. I'd have put this up sooner, but I was busy today, but I want to take a look. I haven't gone through it too much. It looks like it's a post about what to expect for the Vault Tours, and an update to the Master Rulebook, which I did have a chance to look through some of those updates, so we'll talk about that too. But let's start with the Vault Tour news, and we'll do the Master Rulebook update after. So, what's inside the vaults? You, taking the role of a mighty Archon in the world of the Crucible, have arrived at one of the 5 Vault Tours run by Ghost Galaxy. You're ready to forge keys, engage in epic battles, and have a jam-packed weekend of Keyforge fun with a community that is as unique as the game. But where do you start, and what can you expect? Yeah, I've actually had a lot of questions about how this is going to work. I'm going to 2 of these. I'm going to the one in Roseville, and I'm going to the one in San Antonio. And I'm very excited to do both of them, but I have had some questions about how exactly it's going to work, because I've never done one of these before. So let's take a look. Registration. Players will need to find Tournament HQ at the venue. This will be a desk or table marked with a sign to register for the event and receive a badge with a branded Keyforge lanyard. This is also the place to ask any questions or get important event information over the whole weekend. Nice. Good to have a registration desk. Registering includes a goodie bag. For Vault Tour 2024, goodie bags will be a cloth logo printed bag filled with the following: 3 Grim Reminders Archon decks. These decks may be used in sealed events and shouldn't be opened if that's how a player intends to use them. 1 Vault Tour pin with location name specific to that event. Oh shoot, look at that. They're showing the Roseville one too. That's super cool. And a mystery item that will be revealed at the first Vault Tour stop. Yep, they're going to show us that one this first weekend in April. So 2 weeks out, we're going to get that answer to what the surprise item is. I will be away from my house. I'll be on a trip when that happens. But if I have some time, I might sneak away into a hotel room and do a live react or something. But it probably won't be a full-length video. And I will do a full-length video when I get back home, but that won't be until like Wednesday. So it'll be a couple days after. Side event and tournament registration is separate from event registration. Players will need to register for each tournament they want to participate in after checking into the event. Event staff will make announcements when registration for each activity opens, so players should listen carefully. Okay, so when you get there, you'll have to register for your tournaments you want to participate in and side events separately, but it sounds like they're going to have a table for that. That's pretty standard con stuff, so standard convention stuff, so I don't think that'll be a problem. Main tournaments. 3 main tournaments will be held at every Vault Tour stop. 1 for each of Keyforge's 3 competitive formats: Sealed, Archon, and Alliance. Additional information on these formats and how they are run can be found on the tournament formats and rules page. Attendees are invited to participate in as many main tournaments as they have access to. Archon and Alliance tournaments will be run simultaneously for well-attended events, so participants should choose which format they wish to play. Yeah, they talked about that you won't actually be able to do both of those, I guess, unless there's not a lot of people, but hopefully there'll be a lot of people, because these are big events, and so they should be packed. Note that each main tournament requires spending 1 event key from the Keyforge Master Vault. Additional information on organized play policies and obtaining an event key can be found on the What is Organized Play page. Yeah, so this is the most common question. You are going to need an event key from the Master Vault. You get event keys by spending Amber. You get Amber by unlocking decks and participating in certain events. So upload your decks, get your keys. You need 1 for each event, which was unclear to me if you needed 1 for each Vault Tour or 1 for each event, but it looks like it's going to be 1 for each event. I don't have an abundance of those, so I might only be playing Sealed, but that's not too bad. Every main tournament will have a registration period, typically 1 hour, but maybe longer or shorter for some events, and a start time. Players are encouraged to show up in the early part of the registration period to ensure they have a spot, and may not be able to participate if they show up after the start time. That's pretty common. Be there on time. Yeah, that makes sense. All main tournaments will offer the same fantastic prizing to top 8 competitors, including a chance to become a Vault Warrior. I have a video on that if you want to look at what that is. And earn an invite to the Keyforge 2024 World Championships. Vault Warrior qualifications and benefits are for the first place, aka champion participants only, and they do not pass to second place when a first place finisher is already qualified. World Championship invites pass to the next top finisher if a first place has already qualified for the World Championships in the specific format. Okay, so World Championships do pass on, Vault Warrior does not. Good to know. Keep it in your brains. And it looks like the prizing is going to be the same for the top 8 in all 3 tournaments. So you get the same stuff for participating in any of the 3 of them. So you're not missing out no matter which one you participate in. Prize packages will vary on overall placement, but Vault Tour champions will take home a package that includes 2 special mystery deck displays, each with 12 decks marked for the specific Vault Tour. Dang. A unique champion playmat, a champion achievement pin, and a glass trophy. Wow! Jeez, that's a lot of swag. Oh, man. I've never wanted to win so bad. I probably won't. I don't know. Maybe I will. Runner-up finishers and the rest of the top 8 can expect a combination of mystery displays or mystery decks, playmats, and pins. Okay, so they're doing something. They're doing something fancy. It's not going to be Unchained or Menagerie. They're doing something like that, though, is my guess, and that's what these displays are going to be. Neat. Dig it. That could be a lot of fun. All right. Sealed. Sealed main tournaments will take place on the Friday of each Vault Tour. Registration period is planned for 12 p.m., while the start time is planned for 1:30. Oh, that's actually real good. Judging and event staff must inspect sealed deck packaging during registration, so arriving well in advance is encouraged for a smooth experience. Players may use between 1 and 3 decks for the sealed event, either bringing their own or using the sealed decks provided in the goodie bag. Sealed decks must be in complete, undamaged, manufacturer sealed packaging before registering to the tournament. Yeah, I thought they were probably going to do something like that. So if you're playing sealed, they got to check your decks. Registration starts at noon. Ends at 1:30. It's actually good news for me because I'm flying to San Antonio and I'm landing at like 10:30, 10:40-ish, which is probably enough time to get to the venue and get set up. But since they don't start till 1:30, and I could probably get there I can get there in plenty of time, which is really exciting. So sealed, make sure your decks are sealed. They'll double check them, but you can use the ones on site as well. Archon main tournament will take place on the Saturday of each Vault Tour. Registration period is planned for 10 a.m. Early. Be there. While start time is 11 a.m., registration is expected to be brisk, but arriving early is still encouraged. Players may use any unmodified Archon deck from a tournament legal set that is scanned into their Master Vault. For details on the Master Vault and deck ownership, see the Master Vault deck ownership page. Or the Master Vault of someone marked as a friend in their account. You can use your friend's decks. So go to your Master Vault, make sure your decks are registered ahead of time, make sure your friends are established so that you can use their decks. Just, do all of this well in advance. It's a little bit of work, but it's not too bad. There are pages to help you with all of that. Archon deck cards with a deck's unique QR code and deck list are required. A deck may not be used without the appropriate card. So you do need the Archon card that has your Archon on it, and it'll also have your deck list on the other side along with the QR code. You have to have that card or you cannot play the deck. Important things. Remember. Alliance main tournaments will be placed on Saturday for each Vault Tour. Registration period starts at 10 a.m. Start time at 11 a.m. Deck inspection will be performed during registration to ensure compliance with the Alliance restricted list, so players are encouraged to arrive well in advance. This one's probably going to take a minute to register for, so be there on time. Players may use an Alliance deck that is constructed from a single tournament legal set using the My Alliance tool on their Master Vault. Oh, you have to actually build it on your Master Vault. That's important. You can't just show up with it, you have to build it on your Master Vault. Alliance decks may be constructed from any deck scanned into a player's Master Vault or the Master Vault of someone marked as a friend on their account. There's a little bit of pre-work that needs to be done. You got to do some homework, but if you do it, it'll go much smoother. A deck QR code generated from My Alliance and the Archon deck card of each deck used in the Alliance deck are required. A deck QR code generated from My Alliances and the Archon deck card of each deck. Wow. All right, Alliance players, do your homework. Do your homework. You can't play. A deck may not be used if a player has not obtained the QR code or does not possess the appropriate Archon deck cards. Bring the Archon cards from all of your Alliance decks and generate the QR code. Do your homework, or you're not going to get to play. Second Amber. I want to know about this because I'm probably going to be doing a lot of it. Second Amber is a casual tournament that offers a continuance of play for participants who are eliminated from main tournaments. Players are invited to visit Tournament HQ to register for Second Amber tournaments beginning after the second round of the main tournament, which is the first round where you can be fully eliminated. After each round, any newly eliminated players are welcome to join Second Amber. Joining Second Amber also doesn't have to be immediate. Players are welcome to skip rounds before they join. Yeah, keep playing, because playing's fun. Attendees who did not participate in the main tournament are also invited to participate in Second Amber, but must bring a deck that follows the Second Amber format, normally sealed, Archon, or Alliance. Modifications may be announced by event staff and vary at each Vault Tour. So you can participate, even if you don't participate in the main event. You just have to meet the requirements of whatever the main event tournament was. Makes sense. Playing in Second Amber gives everyone a chance to keep having Keyforge fun in a more casual round-robin style format, and to earn additional chances at prizes. Entering Second Amber gives one prize ticket, and every win in Second Amber gives one additional prize ticket. At the conclusion of Second Amber, there will be a prize raffle for participants. Prizes will include special decks, tokens, sleeves, and more. Neat. They show off some of the little gubbins that you can win. Gotta love the little gubbins. Any little gubbins are good little gubbins. Okay, cool. This is all good information, guys. This is really, really good. This is the stuff we want to know before we show up to the first Vault Tour. And that I especially want to know, because I've not been to one before, so this is going to be my first one. So I'm soaking up this information like a sponge. Right into the brain. Side events. Additional side events will be available at each Vault Tour. These may or may not include Keyforge Adventures challenges. For example, a timed speedrun challenge of Fall of House Gormengeist, a single deck sealed small groups, and Keyforge Menagerie or Keyforge Unchained duels. All side event activities are included in the cost of the ticket and will include modest prizes. Neat. Do side stuff. Especially if you can't participate in two tournaments, if you can only do one or the other, like if you can only do sealed or Archon, but because you don't have enough vault keys or whatever. Other things to do. Other things to do is good. Menagerie goes off the chain. Available at all Vault Tour stops will be a Menagerie and Unchained mini tournament on Sunday morning. The exact start time may vary, but it is planned for 10 a.m. It will feature Swiss-style rounds. This will allow players to bring their favorite deck from the Menagerie or Unchained sets to challenge other Keyforge players in wacky duels. Undefeated players will win prizes. Cool. Sure. I mean, Unchained and Menagerie are just really, really ridiculously powerful formats. So I get wanting to play it a little bit, but I don't know. I'll probably do it because it's something, fun to do. But I honestly think that they're a little too unhinged for me. I like something a little more focused. Weekend Key Warrior. Less of a side event and more of a side happening. All winners in Second Amber tournaments and the Sunday mini tournament will be tracked and tabulated at the end of the event. The player with the most overall wins will be named the Weekend Key Warrior and receive some bonus prizes. That's the goal! Weekend Key Warrior! Don't win anything. Always lose and play. I mean, no. Obviously, play to win, but also that sounds really cool. Merch! Vault Tour attendees will gain access to exclusive merchandise that has only seen limited availability in retail or has until now been limited to our GameFound campaigns. These include Menagerie decks, Unchained decks, house pins, and even the Flumph plushie. Yeah, I'll probably be buying the house pins because I have several of them now and I want the rest. I gotta have them all. Can't have just some. Gotta have them all. Additional exclusives may be available depending on the specific event location, and even more exclusive items remained to be announced. Nice. Some items will have limited availability or caps on the number of items a single individual may buy. Fair enough. All right, cool. Gubbins galore, guys. Walk away with swag bags a-groaning seems to be the plan, and I'm all about it. The vaults are calling. Tickets for U.S. Vault Tours are available now, and the international Vault Tour locations are soon to be finalized. There's only one way to find out if you'll be the next Vault Warrior. Join and get your tickets today. See you in the Crucible. If you're going to Roseville, look out for me. If you're going to San Antonio, look out for me. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be having a blast. I'm going to put up videos about it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I got a buddy who's coming with me to Roseville. I'm flying solo for San Antonio, so say hi. I'm going to be alone, and I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be lonely, so say hi. But yeah, very exciting. Very exciting. There's only one other thing to talk about. They put out another article. This one is an update to the Master Rulebook. So I'm going to go over the article. I'm not going to go over the entire Master Rulebook. There are multiple changes to the Master Rulebook that are worth looking at that are not mentioned in the article. So do spend a little time on that in your own time. But we're going to go through the article and look at the highlights, because some of these highlights are definitely worth talking about as we're going into the Vault Tours. So, Master Rulebook Update 17.3. The Keyforge Master Rulebook is a comprehensive rules of play for the game of Keyforge. It is the game's most authoritative source and contains a detailed glossary, official errata, frequently asked questions, and a timing chart. It is primarily a reference document to help players find answers to specific questions. We update this rulebook periodically as new card sets are released and new questions arise about how to resolve various card interactions that occur during games. Note that if you're new to Keyforge, the best way to learn how to play the games are to read the Learn to Play Keyforge and to watch the video tutorial. Yeah, diving right into the Master Rulebook is a lot for a new player. Just do the Learn to Play stuff, or play with an experienced player if you can. They can answer a lot of those questions. But once you've played a little bit, I do recommend reading through the Master Rulebook. Maybe not the whole thing, but, you know, look through it. It almost always has answers to whatever question you might have. So they update it pretty regularly. Usually they update it right after a set launches, which is what this one is for Grim Reminders. Before a set launches, but after most of the spoilers, but after some of the spoilers have come out, and that one is usually the new keywords getting added. They usually update it another time right before a set drops, and that one is usually around the time all the spoilers have come out, and it addresses any issues that they didn't address with the previous update. So about 3 times per set, which is about 6 times a year. So that's about every other month or so, they update the rulebook. Usually small updates, usually not big ones. The only one that's usually big is the one where they introduce the new keywords and they put all the rules for the new keywords in. So, yeah, not usually too bad, but something to watch out for and keep an eye on. So, what's new in version 17.3? This is a housekeeping update to the rulebook with a couple of rules clarification erratas. These changes should answer several common rules questions for cards, as well as clarify rules interactions for similar cards. Updated to the glossary, bonus icons, capture, key cost, drawing cards, fight, purge, scrap, stun, swap, and upgrades have all gotten updates. Those are worth looking through. Most of them are fairly minor changes, but definitely things you want to read. Frequently asked questions for Animator, Awakened Titan, Forbidden Tome, Hadroth's Wall, Sabira the Medium, and Well of Memory have all gotten updated. Of those, Animator and Sabira the Medium are the 2 you absolutely want to read, because those are big, meaningful changes, particularly Animator. The change to Animator is going to have big implications for De-Animator in Amber Skies. Read it, know it, be ready for it. But we're not going to go over that in too much detail here. We're going to go over what they want to go over, which is the card-specific erratas for some of the cards. So first up is Ecto Charge. A lot of us have been really worried about how powerful Ecto Charge is in this set, and they're going to address it here. So Ecto Charge is a card originally introduced as an anomaly, which is an ultra-rare card type, in the Winds of Exchange set. Later, it appeared as a common card in the Grim Reminders set, and its minimum amber requirement was removed. This change left 2 versions of the card in existence. After gathering data from the community on both versions, we decided to restore the minimum amber requirement. Okay, so the text for the version that was printed in Grim Reminders says forge a key at 20 plus current cost, reduced by 1 for each card in your discard pile if you do purge Ectocharge. However, the version that you have to use is the version that was an anomaly in Grim Reminder, or in Winds of Exchange, and it restores the minimum. So this one says, forge a key at 20 plus current cost, reduced by 1 for each card in your discard pile to a minimum of 6 if you do purge Ectocharge, which means Ectocharge will never ever let you forge a key for less than 6 amber. So that's a thing to keep in mind. It's a big change, but it's a good change, because Ectocharge was causing problems. Getting free keys off of Ectocharge was just too easy. Now, they'll never be free. You will have to pay for them. But I think it's still going to be really powerful, and I think it's still totally fair that it gets purged. So that's my opinion on Ectocharge. If you have a different opinion on this, if you're really mad about it, put your thoughts down in the comments, because this is the stuff to talk about, right? These are the things that we as a community actually should be discussing. So if you want to talk about it, put it down in the comments, and we can talk about it. But I do think this is a good change. The other ones that they mention here are basically just clarifications, but we'll go through them anyway. So Scoop Up is another installment in the abduction mechanic for House Mars. As with all abduction cards, a simple idea has led to a very complex rules interaction. In Winds of Exchange, the use of token creatures and the ease that players could take control of enemy creatures made the former wording on Scoop Up insufficient. The old wording was put a friendly non-Mars creature and an enemy non-Mars creature into your archives. If that enemy creature would leave your archives, return it to its owner's hand instead. The new text says, play, put a friendly non-Mars creature and an enemy non-Mars creature into your archives. That bit's the same. If either card leaves your archives and you are not the owner of it, put it into its owner's hand instead. So this is for those cases where you would steal your opponent's creature, put it into your archive, and then when you go to pick up your archive, you could leave it there because Scoop Up didn't say to give it back if it was yours when it got scooped up. But that was obviously not how it was intended to be working. So if the card isn't yours and it comes out of your archive, you give it back to your opponent. That's the way it's supposed to work. All right, we're all clear on that? Cool. That's just a clarification. That was always how that should work. It's just not how it was worded before. All right, we got 2 more. Into the Warp. Into the Warp's printed text was unfortunately ambiguous in how it should resolve. The old text said each player discards the top card of their deck, destroy each creature that shares a house with the discarded card. The new text says each player discards the top card of their deck. That bit's the same. Destroy each creature that shares a house with at least one of the discarded cards. Yeah, so you don't have to share a house with both of them. I don't think anybody thought that was how that was supposed to work, but based on the wording, that is what it said, so you get a pass. But yeah, this is another just sort of, quality of life update. Cauldron is a new untamed card in Grim Reminders. The original text failed to consider a game state that extremely clever Keyforge players can accomplish. The new text adds or more to account for that occurrence. So I don't know exactly how people did this, but it's still a good change. It says, Omni, put the top card of your deck face up under Cauldron. If there are 3 cards under Cauldron, play them one at a time as if they were in your hand. The new text says, Omni, put the top card of your deck face up under Cauldron. If there are 3 or more cards under Cauldron, play them one at a time as if they were in your hand. Yeah, I don't know who figured this out or how they did it, but apparently there were ways to get more than 3 cards under Cauldron, and then you just couldn't get any of the cards to play because there were more than 3, and it said if there were 3, you're supposed to do it. So, I don't know how people were doing that, but it's a change. And then lastly, they say, as always, there are other concerns in the community that may not have been addressed by this update. Be assured that Ghost Galaxy has heard the concerns and has almost daily discussions internally on a wide variety of cards and interactions. Other changes have been discussed, but at this time, we have decided not to take any additional action. We will continue to watch events, listen to the feedback of event staff, and monitor the community as we evaluate possible future changes. Grim Reminders has a reputation for being a really, really high-power set. I don't know. What do you think? Is there other changes you'd make? Drop them down in the comments below. We'll talk about them. We'll see what you guys think. I feel like these are pretty much good. I feel like these are fine. There's a change they made to Sabira the Medium, or not a change, but a clarification they made for Sabira the Medium that I kind of want to talk about, but I don't want to go into all that too much because, you know, if we go through the entire rulebook, we'll be here all day, and that's just... But if you got a thing you want to talk about, drop it in the comments down below. We'll talk about it. But yeah, clarification on how Vault Tours are going to work, a Master Rulebook update, good stuff. You know, always good to get clarification on these things. I'm glad to know that the Master Vaults are looking like they're going to be swag-filled events. You know, that feels like it's going to be a lot of fun, especially for people like me who are probably only going to play the sealed tournament and then be playing side events the rest of the time. It's nice to know that there'll be lots of other things to participate in and to get your hands on. So I'm very, very excited. Do your homework for those events, though. There's stuff you got to do at home before the event starts. Do it. Be ready. And yeah, other than that, if you're going to Roseville or you're going to San Antonio, drop it down in the comments below. Let me know. I'm excited to see who's going to be there. Maybe some people I know. I've got several people I play with in my area, so, you know, I don't know who else coming. Maybe somebody will be there. But other than that, that's all I have for you today. So until next time, later, Archons.